But on a positive note, y'all know me. I'ma pray, but I'ma cry at the same time because it has not been easy at all. So for starters, this video is going to be a quick little update about where I've been, what's been going on, how life has been treating me since starting corrections, and also a little bit of a Q&A. I got a few questions that people were asking, and I was like, okay, I'm going to just kind of tie it into this video, and we're going to go from there. So I think it's better to go ahead and just get into the update first. Yo, bear with me. So as you guys know, I have officially been working in corrections now. Let me just tell y'all, the good is that I absolutely love corrections. I absolutely love it. I can't go into too much detail because at this prison where I am, it's very strict on what you can and cannot say about the facility itself. So I can give y'all some of my job duties and the things that I do, but I can't go into like a lot of personal stuff. But to start off, I absolutely love it, yo. I love the environment. I love the nurses that I'm working under. For right now, I work under a nurse because I'm still in training. And my medical assistants are absolutely phenomenal. The sergeants, the chiefs, the officers, everybody so far has been absolutely amazing. I can say at this facility, it feels more of like a family unit. Everybody kind of knows how everybody works. Everybody knows. It just flows really well. I can't say the officers, everybody there, they are very, very, they don't play about their nurses and they don't play about their aides. I absolutely love, well, medical assistants. They do not play about us. Like, when you hear corrections, a big fear that I had about going into corrections, I'm like, well, Lord, these inmates, and they're going to be crazy. They're going to be saying all type of stuff. They don't play about disrespect towards their nurses and their medical assistants. They nip that in the bud immediately. Like, they are very protective of us. They don't let us out of their sight. You feel protected there. Like, that was a huge thing for me. I was like, oh Lord, it's a prison, it's inmates. Am I going to be safe? I have these 2 kids to go home to. Am I going to be okay? I feel safe. I know that I am safe in this facility. That is a huge pro for me. Absolutely a huge pro. With that being said, a few of the job duties that I have at this prison, I operate more like an RN than an LPN. And what I mean by that is normally, you know, if you're in a hospital, skilled nursing facility, rehab, things like that, you have your charge nurse, which is usually the RN. And the LPNs, we do more of the bedside care, the floor, hard labor working. You know, we do the hands-on with the patient care. We do a lot more of the nitty-gritty, okay? Well, here, I don't even do med pass. I don't pass my medications. The medical assistants do med pass. They do vitals. They do AccuCheck, things like that. They are absolutely phenomenal. Every single one of them. Absolutely phenomenal, okay? Now, my job duties is basically we manage the clinic as the LPN, okay? So, I do what would be called sick calls, which is when an inmate say they need to see a doctor for whatever, dentist, nutritionist, podiatrist, whatever they need, whatever their request is, I have to answer those. The new arrestees that come in, you know, we do packets for processing, things like that. It's a lot of it's more of a management role as the nurse, which is why I say I operate more like an RN over an LPN. I'm not doing, even though I'm still doing, you know, like blood draws and specimens and stuff like that, it's not somebody cutting the light on and I got to run to go get this medicine. I got to run to go do this for the doctor. I got to run to the pharmacy. It's not that. That is why I say it's more of the RN function than the LPN function. Now, don't get me wrong. Just because I'm saying we function more as an RN over an LPN, we not doing anything that's out of our scope of practice. I'm not saying that at all. That is not what I'm saying. That's illegal. We're not doing it. But we don't have to do the down and the dirty. Like we don't have to do that because it's a different environment. And I absolutely love that because med-surg had then ran me into the ground. I have been running into the ground. Now, I'm not going to lie. I absolutely miss a few of my coworkers from med-surg. I absolutely miss, the type of patients I would get. Could I ever see myself going back and doing it again? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It wears you down mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. It's not, no. So on a good note, on a good life update with corrections, I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Okay. Now the next life update. Your girl has started school, y'all. I am so proud of myself being back in school because I have been able to keep myself, even with working a full-time schedule at the prison now, I have been able to keep myself ahead of all of my assignments. Like I'm able to, any free time I have, because I have my school app on my phone as well, I'm logging on to my Lola, I'm logging on to my Canvas, I'm reading, what I need to go over. I have everything written down in my planner. I'm like, okay, I have this test due this day, I have this quiz, I have this assignment. I am so proud of myself. I have been able to stay ahead of all assignments, all discussions, everything. And I absolutely love it. I didn't think I was going to love going back into the studying aspect and the, oh Lord, I got to submit this assignment before this time. I didn't think I was going to like being back into that aspect of school, but I absolutely love it, y'all. I think I love it so much because I'm accomplishing something that I kind of felt like was going to take me a lot longer to do. So I absolutely love school, and I have all A's so far. Your girl still got all A's so far. It's the way I got A's. It's the way I got A's. I have A's. So far, I'm going to try my hardest to keep them. Okay? Going to do everything I can to keep my grades up, my grade point average, because I'm supposed to. That's what I'm supposed to. I ain't no dummy or nothing. You know what I'm saying? So that is school, right? Now, why I've been taking a bit of a break from creating content on YouTube and what's been going on, let's get into that part. This is the not so good part. So, as you guys know, I am a single mom of two of the most amazing little boys to ever grace this planet. I know all parents feel like their kids is just, but mine really like that. Mine is really, they really them boys. They really it, okay? So, I raise my children by myself. I don't have any help financially or anything like that. Everything falls on me. So, as you all know, I lost my grandmother while I was in nursing school. I lost her in the year of 2021. And my youngest was 5 at the time, and my oldest was 7 at the time. I'm going to say around that January of 2022, while I was in the school, so I'm going to say about a month and a half to 2 months after my grandmother passed, I noticed a huge shift in my son, my youngest son. He became a lot more withdrawn. He started getting into trouble at school. He was becoming like really, really aggressive at school. He would have days where he was like, kicking, screaming, not want to be at school. He would cut up so bad that they would have to call me to come get him, or we would have to meet with a counselor. Now, his grades academically never wavered. That was never the issue. It just became a behavioral problem. But the problem was at school. The behaviors he was having at school, he would never have at home. I would never see it to the degree that it was at the school. So to back up a little bit, I'm one of them parents. I know they don't have a lot of parents like me these days because these kids is out of control. These children are out of control. Shade. They is out of control. I'm not one of them parents. If a teacher say, your child is doing X, Y, Z, I'm never going to say a teacher is lying. Because I've been a child. I've been at school. I've been family houses doing things, that I shouldn't be doing. When your parents don't have them eyes on you, you push them buttons. You try to see how far you could take it, especially if you think you're going to get away with it. I've been there, okay? We've all been there in childhood and teenage years, okay? So I would never say what my child would not do. However, At this time, when the teacher was having these problems with him, it was very hard for me to envision these behaviors because he did not show them at home. So we set up a day. One day, she said, how about you just come to school? Don't tell him you coming. I won't tell him you coming. Just set a time. We're going to show up, and I want you to just look through the window and you can see what's going on and what's happening. That's exactly what I did. Yo, when I tell y'all I broke down crying watching my son, my 5-year-old at the time, through this school window because I could not believe what I was seeing. My son was throwing chairs. He was tearing up his paperwork. He was tearing up other students' work. He was yelling, kicking, screaming. I could not believe it. I could not believe it. We went ahead and, I opened the door to let him see me, and it was like he just froze. He was like, girl, what you doing here? That's what his face was. I made him apologize to the students. I made him apologize to the teacher, and we had a little bit of a meeting, but I told him, you're still not coming home. You have to stay at school. So I made appointments with his pediatrician to get him seen to see what could possibly be causing this behavior, what's changed, what's going on. So we meet with his pediatrician, and, she's had him since he was an infant, him and his brother. And, she's like, I'm going through his history. I'm trying to see what could have happened, what could trigger this. And the only really drastic changes he's had in his life is the passing of your grandmother and also their dad, who was a little more active back then, just completely whatever. So she decided that it would be best to get him into behavior therapy to focus on him being able to express and release what is going on in his mind. Because, he's only 5. And he talks to me. Well, at the time, he was only 5. He talks to me, but it's a lot harder for children to put into words sometimes what it is that they need to express. So she said it was best to try behavior therapy. I'm like, okay, great. I'm willing to try anything. We got into behavior therapy, and he made a drastic improvement. It was amazing. I went from getting phone calls every day to never getting any, to the point where I was calling, or I would go to the school and be like, is everything okay? Because I had gotten so used to him having these outbursts and these tantrums. I had gotten so used to the negative aspect of school that I felt like, well, something must be going wrong, girl. They just not calling me or whatever. He made drastic improvement. So because he had improved so much and so well over time, we decided to decrease his therapy. So instead of going 2 to 3 times a week, we'd only go once a week, but it was every week. And as y'all know, I am a single parent. I'm not getting paid to go to therapy. So once he got so much better, I felt as if it was like, okay, well, since he's better, maybe we could take a little bit of a break. I can get back to picking up more shifts and, not be missing out on money and things like that. Fast forward to now. For the past month, my son has gotten to a point where he has backtracked tremendously. The tantrums are back but again, these behaviors are at school. They're never this bad at home. The tantrums are back. The kicking, the screaming, the yelling is back. The not wanting to do his work is back. If there's a negative that you can think of a child doing other than running up and hitting the teacher or something, he's probably done it in the past month and a half. So again, I collaborated with the teachers that he has now because I'm just that kind of parent. I feel like, in my mind, I feel like this. Children are at school a lot more time than they are at home. And that's just the honesty of it. As parents, a lot of time we're at work a lot more than we're at home. So for 8 hours, 5 days a week, a full-time job. These children are going to a full-time job at school. 40 hours a week. You have someone that is responsible for your child. You need to be able to communicate and collaborate effectively with whomever is the authority figure over your child at this time. You have to be as involved as you possibly can. You have to be willing to listen to what they say. You have to be willing to take advice. You can't just, my child wouldn't do this, or my child would never. You can't have that kind of mindset. You need to be able to have a positive and working relationship with this person that your child is in the care of 40 hours a week. That's just how I believe. That's just how I feel. So I collaborated with her, and, you know, I decided, you know what, I'm going to make another appointment with this pediatrician and see what could happen. And this is after I've had conversations with my son about, you know, unfortunately, I, in my childhood, had to deal with some areas of SA as a child. So I often have conversations with my children about, you know, even though they're never anywhere other than with me or my father or at school, things happen anywhere. You know, it's a schoolhouse. You can't even trust kids around kids these days. So I often have these conversations with my children, like, do you feel comfortable in class? Do you feel comfortable at school? You know, what about gym? How are these things going? I often have that. Me and my children have a very open line of communication. My children don't hide anything from me. Not yet. I know them 10 years is coming. But as of now, my children will come to me and tell me, you know, I'm upset, or I don't like this, or I don't want to do this. We have that type of relationship. So after having those types of conversations with my son, trying to figure out what is going on, I decided, okay, let's get with the pediatrician and let's figure out what's going on. So she gave me these forms to fill out. I had a form for myself as the parent, and then I had 2 forms to send to school for his teachers to fill out. And these forms were basically targeting certain behaviors, how often he does them, his tantrums, any areas of lack in his academics, things like that. So I got the forms finally back from his teachers. I did not read their forms. I did my own, and then I got theirs, and I dropped them off to his pediatrician. I did not want to read them. And the reason I did not want to read them is because I wanted to be able to have an unbiased outlook on my child. He's already my son. So, of course, I'm going to be very protective. I'm going to want to shield him. I'm going to see things a lot differently because I'm coming from a place of, this is my child. I love him. I'm nurturing him. I'm raising him. I did not want to look at what the teachers may say, which is their truth, which is their experience with him every single day. I didn't want to look at that and then form an opinion of, well, maybe they're lying. No, Landon wouldn't do this. Or no, he wouldn't do that. I didn't want to do that. Dropped the papers off. I finally heard back from his pediatrician. Maybe it took over a week to finally hear back from her after, you know, going through the paperwork and everything like that. And I'm saying it only took a week. Sorry, they decided to cut grass in the middle of the video. Okay, so after turning in the paperwork and finally hearing back from my baby's pediatrician, she decided to diagnose my son with ADHD as well as ODD. Now, everybody should know what ADHD is by now. You know, attention. You should know. You should know what ADHD is, okay? But ODD was something that was a bit new to me. Now, ODD is what they call oppositional defiant disorder. And after studying and looking up on it a bit, it's basically where your children, I guess even adults, have this issue with authority figures, but not close related authority figures, not like your parents or your grandparents or, you know, your siblings, not people close that love you. It's like outside, okay? So I broke, y'all. I got the diagnosis while I was at work, and I broke. The past few days have been absolutely hell for me because I could not believe it, you know. And I hate to say this and sound ignorant, but when you grow up in a black household, children don't have ADHD. Children don't have ODD. Children don't have ADD. Your child is bad. that is what I hate to say it, but that is what happens in black families. Your child bad. That little boy bad. Or, ooh, he moved too much. Or he too active or whatever, whatever. We don't educate ourselves until we're older on what these things actually are. Now, with me being a nurse, of course, I understand things a little bit more. Of course, with me loving and being in love with psych, of course, I know these things. I love these areas, but it hit me so differently for it to be my son. Okay? Now, of course, I know that these diagnoses are not like a mental illness or anything like that. And this is not to say that there is anything wrong with, somebody having mental illness or a child having mental illness. That is not what I'm saying. However, because y'all know I love me some psych. Y'all know I love psych. Y'all know I love y'all. My heart gonna always be in psych. Y'all know that. But it's just different when you hear a label and a name and it's attached to your child. It just hit me. So it was like a punch to the gut. I started feeling like a failure of a parent. I felt like as a mother, I am failing my child. That is how, honestly, that's still how it feels. I know that's not what it is. I'm not gonna cry on this video. Not today. I know that's not what it is, but as a mother, that mommy guilt is real. Okay? So it's trying to wrap my head around the situation, right? So she suggested that since he's still doing so well academically, he doesn't need like what we would call an IEP here. I don't know what they call it everywhere else, but it's a individualized education plan, and it's basically where children can, like leave out the class and get like one-on-one time if they need it. And it's for, I don't know how to say it without it sounding offensive. Because, growing up, we had 504, which I hate to say it like this, but we called that the slow class. I hate to say that like that, but we knew if somebody was going to 504, then they most likely had problems, like reading or writing or a test taking, or they didn't grasp it in a classroom of other people. They needed it to be one-on-one. We had that. I had that growing up. Like, that's at every school I've gone to as a child. The students, you had the classroom, like I was in the regular classroom. Oh, I hate to say it. Lord, YouTube gone. I'm not trying to be offensive, y'all. I'm trying to find a way to word it. So please, y'all, don't kill me in the comments. Please don't kill me in the comments. If you know somebody that was in 504, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it. I'm saying we knew that there was like the class that all of the students were in, and then if they needed to leave out, we knew that they were receiving like additional help in those classes. That sounded like, okay, and we back. So I hope that explanation didn't offend anybody, because y'all know my heart. Y'all know I'm not that type of person. I don't want to offend anybody. I'm just trying to find a way to explain it without it being offensive and without it sounding ignorant as hell. Okay? So please, y'all, bear with me. So his pediatrician decided, he doesn't need that type of schooling because academically he's still doing really well. However, with his behavior, it could get to a point where his behavior would start to affect his academics, right? So she wants to go ahead and get back into behavior therapy. I'm like, absolutely, absolutely. Plus, I really and truly do. I'm so thankful that at this place where I am, this person where I am, that my boss is 100% about family. So if I was to tell her, look, I have to have, Thursdays off because my baby's going to be in, therapy every week, she's going to be like, okay, just make it up another day. Okay, we'll switch out your Thursday for another day. I'm so thankful that they understand that at this place like this, okay? So she wants to go ahead and start behavior therapy again. And then she wants to also try out medication. My God. When I heard that, my heart dropped out of my ass, y'all. My heart dropped out of my ass because I just was like, absolutely not. Like, I know this is going to sound insane. I know as a nurse, it's going to sound crazy for me to say this, but I do not 100% believe in medication. I do not 100% support medication. I believe that medication treats symptoms. It does not fix the root cause of the problem. Here he go with the, I know you lying. And we back again, hopefully for the last time, y'all. Okay, so as I was saying, I don't 100% believe that medication is the answer for everything. Of course, a lot of that ties into who I am as a person and my spiritual beliefs. A lot of that ties into my spiritual beliefs. A lot of it ties into me being a person that believes you treat a person holistically, which means you treat a person from the inside out, the entirety of a person. You can't just give a person a pill or a shot or an IV drip and think that that's just going to solve the problem. A lot of times it ties into your lifestyle. It ties into your diet. It ties into, you needing therapy for trauma you may have had as a child. There are so many things that it could tie into that I just personally believe that medication cannot fix everything. So when she suggested putting my son on a medication, I was like, what? Medication? To do what? Like, of course, I automatically start going into, he's going to be a zombie. He's not going to be himself. He's going to be emotionless. I'm not. Every single fiber of my being told me that if I allowed my son to try out a medication, that I was going to lose my son. He would no longer be my son, the baby that I have. As a mother, as a parent, I'm going to stop saying as a mother because there are some amazing fathers out there that understand what I'm saying. As a parent, it is our job to love, protect, guide, nurture our children to the best of our abilities, So for me as a mom, the fact that my son has had this traumatic loss, that grief can trigger so much, I want to fix it. And I cannot fix it. I want to just take all of his pain away, take all of his anger and frustration away, and I can't. I can't do that. As bad as I want to, I can't do that. And that has been really, really hard for me to battle with. It's been really, really hard for me to wrap my head around. And her suggested medication just made it worse. It just made me feel like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a good mom. I don't. It made me feel the lowest of the low. But I had to really sit down and have a conversation with my dad. And, my dad basically, said, look, you got to do what you can. You got to try what you got to try. He's like, I know you don't really believe in it. I know you're not really supportive of it. But you've done everything else in your power that you can do. You don't want this to start affecting him, his academics. You don't want him to get this label of the bad, problematic child. Try what you have to try, and we're going to figure it out together. We're going to work it out as a team. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to pray on it, and I'm going to go from there. So, y'all know I told y'all, you ask God to show you, and he going to show you every single time. I prayed that night, and I said, Lord, show me what to do. Is there a sign that I need to try this? What should I do? And literally, I'm going to say it's a dream for TikTok. I mean, for YouTube, I'm going to say it's a dream. But for me, it was a vision for me. I literally, it was like for the past year, I saw my son in all of these new little things that he's doing that I had never really noticed before, and how they have like amplified over the past year. So my son has started doing things like, if we're in the house watching TV, he cannot sit still and watch a movie. He has to jump up and down from sofa to sofa. He has to stand in a circle, and he does this spinning thing now. He spins around continuously. He spins. If I fix him food for them to sit down and eat, he has to take a bite, run off, and then he'll get distracted doing whatever else. He may come back again, he'll take another bite, and then by the time he actually finishes his food, it's cold because he has ran off and got distracted doing everything else. Okay, my son also has picked up these little, I noticed these little habits of when we are talking, I notice my son will start on one topic and then it'll go completely left field to something else. And I'll have to kind of, you know, bring it back like what you talking about? That's not what we was talking about. What you talking about? And he'll, oh, you know, it's like his mind, it's almost like my son's mind is going 90 miles an hour and he's trying to go 5. He's trying to go 5. He's always in go mode. It's literally, my son is like Sonic. And ironically, that's what he wants to be for Halloween. He wants to be Sonic. He's literally like Sonic. He's dashing 24/7. He's dash 24/7. I have gotten to the point where I noticed I don't like going shopping. I already don't like going shopping, but I don't like taking my children in the store because, number one, they're too big for a basket. They way too big for a little buggy. But if I go in the store with my 8-year-old will stand next to me, he'll want to push the buggy to help me out. You know, he wants to be the adult. That's what he want to do. My 8-year-old keeps telling me he's ready to start paying bills. But my 6-year-old, because my youngest is 6 now, I would have to call his name at least 10 times because he gets distracted by a color he may see on a box. Now he's walking off to go get the box, and I have to, and then come on, you know, we leaving, or, you know, he'll see something somewhere else, and now he's walking. It was like little things that I didn't see as a big deal. I started thinking, okay, well, maybe these are some things that go along with ADHD. I really don't know. I don't, like I said, in a black household, I'm sorry, we don't know. We don't know. We're not taught these things. So, and then the things that we are taught, they have such a negative connotation attached to them. We think that it's like this horrible thing. We think that the child is like slow or a terrible kid or something. It's so ignorant. It's so ignorant. So I started thinking, I'm like, you know, maybe these are things that, you know, he may need a little bit of help with. So I decided, okay, you know what? I'm going to just give it a try. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it a try so that my son can get back to being focused in school, being able to do his classwork, his assignments, do what he has to do so he can succeed, you know, and he can be proactive instead of reactive. So that is where I am. That is why I have been taking a little bit of a break, because I have been beating myself down, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I have been beating myself down because it's like I'm trying, in my head, I'm trying to wrap around what could I have done to prevent something that I know I could not have prevented. I could not have prevented this death to trigger so much. And I cannot prevent the way his brain processes things. I mean, I just can't, I can't slow it down. I just can't. It's certain things that as a parent I want to do that I know I cannot do. And that is where I have been for a while, trying to work, school, and mother to the best of my ability. I have been trying to mother to the best of my ability. And I have been trying to figure this shit out to the best of my ability. And it has not been easy. I have cried more. I honestly believe I have cried more in the past week than I have since my mother passed away. Like, I have never cried. I have not cried this much in so long. I'm driving and I'm just booing because I'm like, what could I have done? Or what can I do to help? Or how can I fix it? How can I change? That's why I've been, y'all. That is why I have been. So, of course, y'all know, with me being as open and transparent as I am, I'm going to document this process as well. We are going to give it 30 days with this medication to see how things, with the combination of medication and the therapy, to see how things work, you know, how he's able to process, if it's beneficial for him in school, to be able to, you know, watch him at home. I have my father on my team as well, of course. You know, I went out and bought a log specific. Well, it's like a little notebook I bought specifically for this 30 days to be able to write down everything. And I also bought one for his teachers so that they can be able to log, you know, any changes that they see in him, whether it's positive or negative or whatever. And that is, I'm going to take y'all along the ride with me because I have to. It's important. And I know the way I feel, there's probably another mom or dad out there that feels the exact same way, and they don't know where to turn. They don't know who to talk to, because a lot of times when you try to talk to people about stuff like this, everybody gives you their opinion. Everybody wants to, oh, you shouldn't do that. Even when it was as simple as me being open about putting my son in therapy. And as a 5-year-old at the time, because he's 6 now, behavior therapy is more of like a play therapy. It's not like somebody sitting across from him with their legs crossed in a notebook and they jotting down everything, asking him all these trillions and trillions of questions to see, you know, they're not asking him, oh, have you ever thought about harming yourself? Have you ever thought about this? That's not what it is. It's more of like a play model of therapy. I had so many people have such negative things to say about that. Like, why would you put he's only 5. Why would you put your son in therapy? Why not? He has to grow up to be adolescence, teenage, a young adult, a grown adult. And my thing for me is I want my children, especially because they are black boys that will grow up to be black men, I need my children to have emotional intelligence. I need my children to be able to express themselves in a positive manner, in a proactive way. I don't need my children to be the type of men that somebody's daughter has to heal from. Absolutely not. I don't need my children being the type of men that can't express themselves and they using it with their hands and their fists and they hitting on their girlfriends or they beating their kids or they emotionally and verbally abusing their children or their wives or whatever, husband, whatever they decide to do in the future, whatever they decide to do, marry, have, or whatever. I want it to all have a positive impact. That is very, very important for me. If starting therapy, which a lot of y'all need, let me tell y'all something. A lot of men, that's y'all problem. Women too, especially in the black community. I don't know why y'all feel as if therapy is, y'all will do everything else except go to therapy. I do not understand that. For the life of me, I've been in therapy. So I don't understand why, especially within the black community, it is seen as such a negative thing. I don't understand why going and talking to someone that doesn't have an emotional connection to you, so they're not biased by anything you're saying. I don't understand why seeking help to better who you are, to better your mental health, to better everything around you. I don't understand why that's such a bad thing. I can't wrap my head around it. I would never understand that. That's a different rant for a whole nother day, because I don't get it. I've tried to get it, and honestly, I don't want to damn get it, because that is why so many people are literally children walking around in grown-ass bodies. Have the mental capacity of a 10-year-old, because that's where you stuck at. You still stuck at the trauma that you had at 10 and you 50. Not my kids. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, being that I am as honest and transparent as I am documenting the whole journey for you guys, because like I said, I want my channel to not just be career and lifestyle and my spirituality. I also want to show the other side of motherhood and single parenthood, because there are so many of us out there. And a lot of times we build connections and bonds with people that we see through a screen. It's so many people I ain't never met in my life, and you can't tell me we ain't friends. And all I done did is watch them on YouTube or TikTok, and you can't tell me we ain't friends. Okay? We build bond with these people. We feel a connection to people that we've never even met, because sometimes we don't have that support on the outside in our own lives. So if me being open about every aspect and transparent about my journey, whether it's my nursing career, whether it's my education, whether it's me documenting this process with my son so that it helps somebody else, I'm absolutely going to do that. I am absolutely going to do it. And y'all, my email is in, I'm doing this, but it's somewhere on my channel. And if y'all have questions, please don't hesitate to comment or email me. If you have comments or even concerns, please don't hesitate to be open and honest and upfront with me, because y'all know I'm damn sure gonna be with y'all. Okay, We are going to go on this journey together. And if anybody, you know, any parent is going through something similar and you're worried and you're scared, please do not feel alone. It is more of us battling this than you think. It is the more of us battling this than you think. And we're going to do it together, whether it's in the same circle, whether it's in the same state, whether it's in the same home, or whether it's through a goddamn phone screen. We're going to do it together, okay? I'm taking y'all with me. I'm also going to be documenting, you know, things that I'm taking out of his diet, because y'all know I'm going to research. I'm going to research my ass off. We are going to completely, and we're doing it as a family. So me and my oldest son, we're going to change our diet and our eating habits, because I've been researching how, you know, there are certain food groups that can, you know, trigger and agitate, you know, children that have, you know, like ADHD, ADD, things like that. Certain shows, you know, the type of games they play, you know, music, things like that. I'm documenting everything for us. We going on this journey together, okay, y'all? So that is where I've been. I was supposed to do the Q&A in this video. I'm gonna make another video for the Q&A because I didn't expect to be this long. But that is where I've been. That is a bit of an update for you guys, okay? And I will see y'all in the next video, which will be the Q&A. I'll see y'all in a little bit. Love you guys. Bye.